Today we talking about Raekwon, Stack Bundles, Elliott. You know what I'm saying? Rockaway Riot Squad, MOB member, Bird Gang. And I first came into kind of who Stack Bundles was through the Smack DVDs once again, you know what I'm saying? That was giving artists a visual to the music. I heard him on different mixtapes but didn't know who he was until I seen the visual on the different DVDs that he had. So at first I wasn't really too drawn to Stack, you know what I'm saying? He got a different rhyme style, he's a little different. But then he dropped a joint called You Fool and Y'all Trash. Two different joints. You know, I got a little word in between. I ain't trying to get my video flag, so yeah, I gotta look him on YouTube. You Fool and You Trash. Stack Bundles. So in those, he's getting crazy. The wordplay crazy. He's coming. I think he came at Victor Moan and Ali Vegas in the You Trash one. He's just going in, going crazy. Queen's Flip is also in that video. You Fool with young Queen's Flip. So they definitely knew each other back then. So Queen's Flip definitely knows Stack Bundles and a lot as far as his story also. But you know, he was doing the Clue thing. He got with the Clue thing after the Smack, and Clue started shopping him around and trying to give him a deal. So he's doing the whole Desert Storm, songs with Fab, songs with Ray, some songs with Joe Button. He doing that whole Desert Storm collective, but that was there. Clue had all those guys at one point. So after the Clue thing, you know, he tried to shop for a deal, doesn't really get the deal. He ends up linking with Jim Jones because he would see Jim Jones out in Chevy Lounge and different clubs, and you know, Jim caught Jim's eyes for like, who's this guy like an artist? So he starts working with Jim. Now when he works with Jim, they got Max B, Jim Jones, Mel Matrix, Stack Bundles, and they start dropping mixtapes. MOB was a classic. So now everybody's trying to find out who Stack Bundles is. He's like, because Jim got the star power, but his music really takes off when he gets next to Stack and Max. So everybody's trying to look as far as like they know that influence is coming from somebody. So Max starts blowing up, Stack starts blowing up. Mind you, Max goes to jail during that whole time, and that was just Stack. So Stack got the song Weatherman with Jim Jones, and he goes on tour. Doing the whole Weatherman with Lil Wayne and all that, and him and Lil Wayne develop a relationship. And he's just basically doing the Bird Gang thing, trying to get his weight up to try to get a deal or whatever. And Jim shopping, but Jim also is using them for his own projects, like Influence helping him write different things and all that. So now, June 10th comes, you know, and June 10th, 2007, and he's going to the club. Supposedly he stops by the studio first, I'll get to that later, but he goes to the club, and in the early hours of June 11th, he's leaving the club, and supposedly he's followed home. That's what different people stated, that he was followed home and killed. It was either robbery / assassination. They say robbery because his chains was missing, but they say assassination because he still had all his money in his wallet and everything in his pockets. So unfortunately, Stack Bundles gets killed, shot, and in Far Rockaway, in the building he grew up in, the building he lived in the hall, in the lobby and everything. So now different stories is coming out about what was it? Was it a robbery? Was he set up? And the news starts picking up different stories off the rip. One of the first stories they pick up is a man gets killed, they say, in retaliation for Stack Bundles. He gets killed in Springfield Gardens, I think it was, in a vacant house. He gets killed, and people were saying it's retaliation for Stack Bundles, that the police wanted to question him. Now the news the New York Daily News runs with this story. Now this is one story we have right now. A guy gets killed in retaliation for the murder, right? Now, the second story we have now is with a guy by the name of Lee Woods. He was a cop killer. And he was known as a robber, stick up dude, and was very desperate in money at the time. And he gets fingered as the guy who killed Stack Bundles. Not charged, never charged, but he gets fingered as the guy who killed Stack Bundles in attempted robbery and all that. Now, if you want to do some research on Lee Woods, he got a bunch of stuff going on with him. He's a supposed informant. He's a cop killer. He got convicted for killing the cop, then gets convicted for robbery. Basically, the pattern was he was doing a lot of things before he got locked up, and people figured him as the guy who killed Stack Bundles. So, also, people were saying while he was in jail, he was in the box and all that, and he used to tell people, like, leave me alone before I put my gun in your face the way I did Stack, or the way I shoot you in the head the way I did Stack. Different things he was just saying. Because he's a Lee Woods guy who was saying this stuff. So, he never gets charged, but he's convicted. So I don't know, maybe because he's already convicted doing life without parole, never pursue it further, but he never gets convicted, but he gets fingered. And the Daily News, once again, runs with that story. So his name is Lee Woods, if you guys want to check him out and Google him and see what he got going on. So now further along, Chinks is home. Now, Chinks, with Stack's man. They was in the Rockaway Ride Squad together, and came home after. So when Stack was hanging with Max, he used to always tell him about Chink. My boy Chink about to come home from jail. Da, da, da. Now, so Max is after Stack get killed. Max come home. Max links with French. So now he's doing this thing with French. Now Chink's come home. Now Chink's come home, get next to Max, like gave me money and Stack. So yeah, so he's hanging around with Stack. I mean with Max, French, Chinks. Now Max goes to jail. So when Max goes to jail, French is like, you know what? The Chinks, let's just keep this going. Me and you, like the Coke Boys, and that's how the Coke Boys get started, and that's how Chinks become a part of the Coke Boys. Through Stack, basically through Stack and through Mac, their relationship with French and their relationship with Chinks, they was the common denominator, and they put French and Chinks somehow came together through that. So now, Chinks gets killed sadly in 2015 also, and he gets killed in Queens also. And the Daily News interviews his brother, Stack's brother. And Stack's brother was like, yeah, I think the murder of Chinks and the murder of Stack could be related. Because, also a rumor back then was there was a guy in Far Rockaway who had supposedly did that as Stack, and there was some beef going on. But nobody knows. At West Number, we don't run off rumors, but we are aware of the rumors, but I ain't going to touch on that too much. So maybe he's talking about that. I don't know what he's talking about exactly. But the Daily News once again runs with that. So now we got three different stories. We got Chinks and Stack murder related. We got Lee Woods, cop killer, the guy who shot Stack. And then we got the guy who gets killed a few days after the murder, who has something to do with Stack. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different stories, a lot of different scenarios with this whole Stack Bundles case, which is why I was telling you guys it's a tricky subject. I really had to dig deep and do a little more research than usual because there's not too many newspaper articles for me to just point and show you guys what's going on here, what's going on there. I had to really, I could just go and make a video off of rumors that I heard, but that's not what we do here. We try to stay true to the information so at least you guys can know what you're getting and read it yourself and see if that's something you want to believe or not. So I can't give you no rumors. I do know some rumors, but I'm not going to go into them because at the end of the day, it's just rumors. That's not what we do here. But as far as documented information and stories, as far as from newspaper articles or people talking about it, we have those with those three situations, right? Now, fast forward to today, recently. Jaja from Dipset, formerly of Bird Gang Dipset, she gets on the Queen's Flip Show. Now, she has her own tale of what happened. And Queen's Flip knows Stack, like I mentioned, he was in Stack one of his early videos, so he knows Stack too. He has his own tale of what happened. So, Jaja's story is Stack was going through a bunch of beef in the hood. He had shot his Porsche a couple times. He was going through real stuff. He had the whole song with Bird, with Jim Jones, Weatherman. So Jim was on tour with Wayne and all. I think it was Jeezy also. So he go on tour. Jaja was like, we was getting $150 a show. Couldn't even buy a pair of sneakers with that. So why would he be on tour? He might have to be on tour. He could stay in the hood and make money, do what he's been doing. But he was on tour, supposedly relaying to her like, yeah, I'm on tour. It's going down in the hood, like there's a lot going on. They shot my car up. I'm trying to get out of there. That's why I'm out here just doing this for this little bit of bread. Trying to just, stay away from the hood. This is what Jaja saying on Queen's Flip. Once again, you guys can go check that out for yourself if you think, you want to check it out. So she's saying that he relayed this to her. And the day that he got killed that night, before he gets killed in the morning, he comes to the studio. Jim mentioned something like he was to give him some bread the next day at the bank or whatever. But supposedly he comes to the studio and he asks Jim for some money to try to get out the hood, get an apartment or whatever, do what he gotta do as far as to start making his exit plan from the hood, Far Rockaway. So he says he comes back out of the room. It was just Melly, Jim, and Stack in there talking. And Jaja says he comes back out and talks to her like, yeah, sis, I'm about to go to the club, this, that, and the third. I spoke to Jim, this, that, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll be back tomorrow, whatever. So this is what she's relaying to Queen's Flip. Now Queen's Flip is also saying what? I heard this and I met him one time because Queen's Flip got a relationship with him too, so he knows the story also. So their story is adding up, but it's not adding up because he never heard this side before, but he never heard Jaja's side. But Jaja was definitely around Stack, seen him the day of and everything she's saying. So this is one more story. So now Jaja is saying this and saying she don't mess with Jim behind that because he was trying to get out the hood and Jim was trying to get him an apartment with a roommate and he had his own in Queens and he didn't want a roommate. And this is why she got away from Jim because Stack was haunting her and all that. There's a lot going on with that. So you can check that video out also. And what's the numbers? This is all we know of right now. This is why I try to tell you the Stack Brothers is a touchy subject. It's a tricky subject. And honestly, it's to my knowledge that people in Far Rockaway know what happened. and they know the real story. Some people say it's beef in the hood. It was jealousy, a lot of different things. But if you're not really out there, if you're not a original Far Rockaway Red Firm, you know what I'm saying, Edgemere, Hamels, all those different areas in Far Rockaway, if you ain't really in that loop, you won't really know the full story. But there are people out there that supposedly know the story of what exactly happened. But what's the numbers? I'm not gonna feed y'all no fake story or no made up story. I'm just gonna give y'all the story that I got and the story that's documented throughout the years through the news and everything. So that's what I got for you guys, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I tried my best to stack one.